Alright, here we go. Day 4 of online class. So here's, as you saw before, house points. So what I've been doing is, as you guys have been turning things in or commenting on the videos or asking me questions or any of that, I've actually been taking the house points out of the box and putting them here on the table so that I can make sure everyone gets the house points that they were supposed to get. Yeah, because I don't trust my memory throughout the day. And y'all know my memory sucks really bad. So, looks like for house reeves, I don't remember what all these are for, I just know I pulled them out. So, just a couple things that can earn you house points: turning in assignments, sending me messages on Remind, keeping up on your social media journals. I'm not going to require it, like you're not going to lose points if you don't, but you will earn house points if you do. So, if you're still using Twitter to keep up on your journals and stuff, I'm still tracking that. So, looks like for House Reeves, I have 45 points. Ta-da! For House McKellen, I have 40 points, and I believe these were all earned by the same person, so someone in McKellen is doing a really good job. For Hepburn, I have 60 points. Way to go, Hepburn. And the winner of the trivia question goes to someone from House Downey, and they get a whopping 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 points. Now, if you answer the trivia question before I post this video, the next video for the next day, which I usually post the night before, then I give your house 5 points if you answer it correctly. So I did have someone from House Reeves, after House Downey answer it correctly as well. I gave them house points for that too. So even if you think someone's already answered, you should still put in an answer, because if you get the right answer, you still earn points. So there you go. There's the house points totals. Kind of looks like Hepburn's still in the lead, so that's great and fun. I don't know, guys, I love it. It's a little bit of incentive to help you guys continue to be active in class. Alright, let's open up those packets to lesson number 4. I should say chapter 6, Varieties of Drama, lesson 4. Now we're gonna split and talk about comedy and tragedy. We kind of talked about them at the beginning of the year. Now we're going to get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty details in this tragedy comedy review. Today we're going to be talking about tragedies. So, just to be clear, when I answer the questions at the end, I don't want you guys to think that, like, my life is super, super tragic. Just know I'm, like, severely over-dramatizing things so that it'll fit being a tragedy. I really honestly think my life is better suited to be a comedy. But yeah, just throwing that out there, so don't be like, oh my gosh, Miss O'Donnell's life is terrible and sad. Yeah, also, side note, because I just remembered, I ran out of wigs, and I had to actually do my hair today, and that was really depressing. Also, while I'm remembering, if any of y'all are like making memes or jokes about these class videos, you should send them to me, because if they're funny enough, I'll give you house points for that too. Because it's just not theater class if everyone's not making fun of Miss O'Donnell, right? Right. Alright. Okay, so let's go back to tragedies and comedies. Sorry, it's just because my life is so tragic that my students make fun of me. I remembered that. Just kidding. Okay, so usually tragedies, they're gonna deal with like complex human emotions, right? Like they're much more serious subject matter, and usually tragedies are used to actually teach something. Comedies, they're just kind of funny. Tragedies is like, no, we're gonna do some soul searching and it's gonna be great. And tragedies, a lot of people really relate more to tragedy. Like comedy's fun because it makes you laugh and everyone likes to laugh. But more people relate to tragedy because tragedies are meant to be universal. Okay, like you don't have to understand a specific event or situation or culture to understand the humor that you normally would in a comedy. With a tragedy, it's going to be every human deals with this, so every human is going to understand it. And it doesn't matter what time period you do it in, it doesn't matter where you do it, those themes, those emotions, they're gonna be pretty much the same for everyone. So yeah, usually there's protagonist, just like with pretty much every play, and then there's the antagonist, something that character is struggling against. Could be internal struggle, could be external struggle. We talked about that yesterday. Now, something that kind of separates tragedy from just straight drama, because you have tragedy, those are like, tragedies never end happy. Dramas can end happy and not be a comedy, if that makes sense. Like, dramas can be a serious subject matter but end happily. Comedies can be a not serious subject matter and end happily. Tragedies always end sad. They don't end happy. And that's because whatever tragedy is going on, the character, the protagonist, they can't escape their fate. And the whole time the play's going, the audience knows there's no way they're going to escape their fate. So let's think back to when we talked about Oedipus Rex and when we translated Antigone at the beginning of the year. I told you guys the story of Oedipus Rex, how he was told that he was gonna kill his dad and marry his mom, and he tried everything he could to run away from that, and his parents tried everything they could to make sure that didn't come to pass, but fate kind of forced him into that. That's why it's a Greek tragedy, because literally nothing he could do would stop that from happening. And Greeks were really, really big on this idea that fate is fate, and you can't fight fate, which is why they wrote a lot of tragedies. Do I agree with that? No, I think we have more control over our fate than we think we do, but that wasn't their way of thinking, so there you go. Now, the ending doesn't always have to be death. A lot of the times it is, because, I don't know, what's more tragic than death? But it doesn't always have to be. So it just is usually a character going from up here to rock bottom, and it's really sad because your audience should connect with the character. They should like the character, they should want the best for the protagonist. And that's why it says that the protagonist needs to be either an average or better person, because if you take a villain and bad stuff happens to a villain who's been a bad person, chances are people aren't going to feel bad about that, right? So your character needs to be a good person so that the audience can feel bad when bad things happen to them. The main point of tragedies is to kind of give us a feeling of catharsis. And we talked about catharsis at the beginning of the year as well. But catharsis is basically feeling a release of emotion because you have explored what would happen if you did this. So in a tragedy, it's like, well, if this person makes this choice, what's going to happen? And it kind of shows you what's going to happen because of that choice. And it should help the audience feel, oh my gosh, I feel so much more relief because I've explored that option now. And I don't feel quite so bottled up, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it should help you feel good about yourself. A lot of the times theater is used to kind of explore what it would be like to go against societal norms, and that's why when you go see a play and you really relate to the characters, or even a movie and you're just like, oh yeah, that movie just really empowered me, made me feel good, that's catharsis. That's probably a better way of explaining it. Okay? Let me see if there's anything I'm forgetting. Pity and fear. Okay, so your audience needs to feel pity and fear for whoever your protagonist is if you're writing a tragedy. Fear for the character because they know they can't escape what's coming, and pity because they know and they understand that character, they empathize with that character because they go through some of the same stuff. So yeah, basically tragedy is a whole messy pit of empathy. Alright, questions. Sorry guys, I know these lessons get really long-winded, but hey, 15 minutes of me talking, probably about 20 minutes of you answering questions, almost gets us to the end of a normal class period anyway, so we're doing good. Alright, question number 1. If your life were written as a tragedy, what inevitable fate would the audience know is coming? It doesn't have to be death. And why would they know it's coming? Okay, again, remember I'm like really over dramatizing my life, and I promise it's not this tragic. Okay, so I have the tendency a lot of the times to sabotage myself. Like, I want something and I want it so bad that I will do a lot of things to get that thing, and a lot of times in doing that I alienate the people that I need to get what I want, and then they won't give me what I want. So like, I guess an inevitable fate that the audience could feel or know is coming is that no matter how hard I try, I'm going to end up alienating people so that I can't ultimately have whatever I'm working towards. So yeah, okay, that's what it is, and that's why. Okay, number 2. What is something that you internally struggle with within yourself? Alright, Miss O'Donnell has a huge problem with pride. She's a very prideful person. And also referring to herself in third person. So I just struggle a lot with feeling like I'm the greatest, bestest person, and when people call me out on my mistakes, it makes me angry, and so that's something that I struggle with and need to overcome. Kind of like Oedipus Rex. He had a lot of pride too. Guess we could be buddies. Alright, number 3. What are some external societal pressures or norms that you often find yourself trying to go against? Oh gosh, like every day of my life. Y'all are always trying to pressure me to break rules, and I tell you, I'm not a rule breaker, so I think just the pressure to not do the things that we all know we're supposed to do. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone tell me you don't always have to follow the rules, but guess what? I do. So I do. Alright, number 4. What is one type of event or action that you would like to feel catharsis for? I think a lot of times I just, for the sake of being professional or being kind to people or just not starting drama because we save the drama for the stage, I think a lot of the times I don't say what I'm actually thinking, or I don't say it as with as much emotion as I probably am feeling. So I think just saying what I mean and not hiding my real emotions, that would be very cathartic. That's why sometimes when I'm mad I write letters, because then I can just say exactly what I'm thinking and not have to worry about hurting anyone's feelings because nobody reads it but me. Alright, number 5. What would you want your audience to fear if they were to watch your tragedy? What would you want them to pity? I'm going to start with pity because that's the easier one for me. I would like them to pity my character for the fact that she's really trying to do the right thing and she wants the best, and she's a very driven character and she has good intentions at heart, but no matter what her good intentions are, it always ends up hurting someone else or being wrong for someone else. And I would like them to pity her for the fact that she's trying and it's just never working out. And fear for themselves, the fact that a lot of times maybe they have good intentions and they think that their intentions are correct, but realizing that the things we do and say really do affect other people, and not always in the way we think they're going to. And even though we might think we have good intentions, sometimes our good intentions still hurt other people, and just being aware of that and yeah, fearing that, hey, you really should be careful about what, sorry, my cat is playing with things and it's distracting me. Care about what we say to people and make sure that we are really just aware of what other people are feeling and things like that. Okay, she's really distracting me, but that's the end of the lesson, so go ahead, turn your stuff in, guys, comment, send me things, let me know anything you do to let me know that you are out there and you are following along. I will give you house points for. Alright, until next time. Bye!